Come on. Come on, Zoom. Got it. Greetings. Greetings, everyone. Uncle V. I self-identify as a winner, and my personal pronouns are Epic Cash. Yes, I unapologetically cover Epic Cash, and today is my favorite day of the week, which is Epic Cash Friday. And I have with me three very, very special guests. Max Freeman, founder of Epic Cash, yoga dude, master of all. And I have Mike Mumola with us as well, who is an amazing legal mind, but more than that, he is just a generous soul who is more networked than I think anybody that I know. So welcome, guys. Welcome. You guys who live in America and know football, for those of you who don't, just forget this next 1 minute. But you have to be thinking that I am crazy to be wearing a Buccaneers Tom Brady jersey right now. But oh, no, 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 no. Tom Brady has everyone right where he wants him. He has intentionally lost 5 out of the last 6 games because he's going to come back now as the GOAT to get his 8th ring, and he's going to come back and so that he can ride into the sunset of his retirement saying, I got them. They thought I was done. I mean, so many games, and we just look like a piece of crap. Like last night, we lost again. Look, my name is Todd Radamas, and we're going to win the Super Bowl. But enough of that. I'm just trying to put positive vibes into the world because I love my Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and it just sucks. They suck. All right. Max, sorry about that. Just had to get that over. Oh, one other thing. While some people are just watching the beginning, I know some people fall off, but I'm sorry. I really am. But this is going to be my last Epic Cash live until the week of November 15th. All next week, I'm going to be away on business. And then the following week, I have a well-needed, I think well-deserved vacation in Costa Rica, the one that was flooded out the last time. So I won't be doing, so the next 2 weeks, I'm just going to miss you, and perhaps you'll miss me. I don't know, but just wanted to get that housekeeping out of the way. Max, hey man, how are you? You spent like what 4 days at the big Vegas conference, Money 2020. Can you give us a little report on that?
Yeah, so it was a 4-day show, but I think I spent the better part of 2 days there. I had a bunch of meetings with people, lunches and breakfasts and dinners and stuff. So it was a bit of a whirlwind. Let's start with the most important thing. So Copper is an institutional custody provider. If you want to have your coins held by somebody else, and there's a lot of really good reasons why people do that, then Copper is probably your best choice. And it's taken quite a long time to get to the point where we're worthy of even being considered to be added to their platform. And we're there. I met with their head of biz dev and a number of their people, and we got a good photo op. So I figure that Copper actually unlocks about 100 times more capital that can flow into Epic versus not having that. So it's a major win for us. I also met with our partners at PLI Cards. They're the people who are making it so that you can buy Epic with a gift card. We're hoping to get that up on, at least online, not in stores. The physical cards, that part will come later, but at least the online piece can be up hopefully by Christmas. We're trying for that. So for an easy button option for people to be able to buy Epic, that will go a long way. This show, man, first of all, the tickets were $4,000. Luckily, I got one from one of our partners, so I didn't have to pay. Thank God. But just to give you an idea of, the magnitude of what's going on, I think there were about 10,000 people there. It was enormous. There were about 450 exhibitors. I think Copper spent $500,000 on their booth, and it wasn't even one of the biggest ones. Companies are spending millions upon millions of dollars for their presence at these trade shows. I spent a couple hours chatting with people at MasterCard. I talked to Paxos. I talked to Prime Trust. I probably talked to, I went to the Federal Reserve booth. That was funny. So
Awesome.
yeah, there were.
Did you get any of the souvenir $100 bills that they were handing out?
Yeah. I asked about
Who is this, Max? Real quick before you.
Oh, so that's Ilya Kazin. He's the head of business development at Copper.
Well, and so he's in his Copper booth with an Epic Cash shirt. That's brilliant. And then there's Max Freeman right here. You can tell. I never. I'm bad at names, but I remember faces, and I'll never forget your face.
Every time you pull out $20 from the ATM, there I am.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So you told me a case that you were speaking with a major stablecoin head honcho, and just tell this story because this is just rich.
Yeah. So it was it was totally bizarre to be there, because knowing what I know and seeing what was said out there, the head of compliance at Coinbase was giving a presentation talking about how increased regulation would unlock growth potential for the industry and help Coinbase serve the unbanked.
Wait, Coinbase is going to serve the unbanked?
And luckily for them, they didn't open up the audience to questions. But my question would have been, excuse me, miss, how is Coinbase going to serve the unbanked when they don't have the KYC documentation that you require to open up an account?
Duh. That's right. That's immediately what I was saying. It's just like, good luck, unbanked, getting an account.
Yeah, the disconnect between what people are saying and the reality on the ground is increasingly glaring. As I always say, you can ignore reality as long as you want, but you can't ignore the consequences of ignoring reality.
Yeah. Let me insert real quick. I want to ask Mike Momola. Mike Momola, you're a long-term attorney. You deal with a lot of different companies. If you can come off mute, if it's not inconvenient, I'd love to know, how can such huge companies like this just be so ineptly stupid in their remarks?
Yeah, I wish I had an answer for that. But we see it a lot, right? We see it a lot across the board in various industries. And I think they just rely on the ignorance of people, quite frankly, not understanding that it's impossible. Like Max said, you do need these things in order to open up a certain accounts with certain companies. And so it just doesn't make sense to me when we hear these things at all.
Does it just become almost like the Peter principle, where these leaders in these organizations rise, but ultimately they're not like a Max Freeman?
No. Here's what it is. You got to go back to World War II. Joseph Goebbels, okay, Heinrich Himmler, Hitler's minister of propaganda. If you repeat a big lie often enough, right, you can get it to become truth in the minds of many people. So whether you want to look at the CIA's mighty Wurlitzer or back to the time of Goebbels, whether these people actually believe what they're saying or not, I don't know, but like saying up is white and left is right and black is white and up is down does not make it so, no matter how many times you repeat it. There was actually another very funny thing that came across my radar screen very recently. MakerDAO. Maker is the organization behind the DAI stablecoin, DAI, which I had tremendous respect for, and I'm losing it by the day. They just decided to put $1.6 billion of their USDC collateral with Coinbase. Why? To earn a 1.5% annual yield. And the press release that came out said, with this partnership with Coinbase, we are going to advance decentralization and trustless finance or something. And I'm like,
Totally converged.
Are you freaking kidding me? Like, and so I think people are just, I think the people that are saying these things are just relying on the fact that nobody will go and check. Like there are no consequences to lying. Basically, you can say whatever you want, and investor beware, buyer beware. We have this culture of predation of like, if you're too stupid to get suckered in, you deserve to lose. Is kind of the amoral value system of finance, and it's on flashing display.
Well, you know, my favorite story that you shared with me after the conference, other than, of course, the chief marketing officer of MasterCard, you know, doing everyone the service of announcing their transgender card, is your discussion with this stablecoin company. And that's what I'd like you to share with people, because, gee, we're just like blown away that this.
Oh, yeah. So I was talking with Paxos. I don't remember what the particular title was of the gentleman that I spoke to, but he was fairly high level and he had been there a while. And I was talking about, I said, okay, so you're like, most of your business relies on Ethereum.
We lost you for a second.
Most of your business activity relies on Ethereum.
Okay.
And I said, what are your plans to integrate other layer ones? And he said, well, you know, we're mainly Ethereum focused. Other layer ones, you know, like we want to stick with Ethereum. And I said, okay, so given that's the case, maybe you can comment on how the Balena case, how you think about how that's going to impact your business. And he's like, what?
Didn't even know.
He's like, what do you mean? What's Balena?
God, that's just.
And I said, okay, wow, all right. How much time do you
how
have?
about the house stablecoin bill? Do you know that?
Well, it just, you know, I was just like, and so anyway, I mean, to his credit, I was talking to this guy for probably like an hour, and he had all kinds of questions, and I could just see the steam coming off of his head. Wow. And the gears clicking in his mind. He was just like, oh my God, how did we miss this? And and it was just shocking to me, because we've always been
such a shit coin.
We've always been so
no vision.
Yeah, we've always been so ahead of the curve on this stuff. I thought it was completely obvious. I mean, if I were them, I would have been like spending all my time focused on the what ifs of, okay, is it going to go this way? Is it going to go that way? I mean, that is absolutely business crucial. And it just did not even register. Like you hadn't even heard of it. So it was a bizarre sort of like, as I was walking through this show and I was hearing all of this stuff, it was like, you know, that meme of the dinosaurs where the asteroids are coming in and they're just going about their business.
Yep.
I swear, like 30% of this show was things that simply do not need to even exist once we move to a form of money like Epic and EUSD. There was probably, I want to say maybe 20-30% of the show was about fraud and chargebacks and identity verification. They had all these booths where it was like, we can scan your face faster than the other guy.
Wow.
We can fight fraud by harvesting these 10,000 data points. Like, the whole industry was focused on addressing the consequences of the shortcomings of the flaws in the payment system itself. And and here we are with a complete perfect solution.
Yeah, that by the way is financial freedom for the masses. And in just evoking the word freedom, I want to ask you one thing. I saw last night in Freeman U, for those of you who aren't aware of it, it's on Telegram. Do yourself a favor, subscribe to it, t-me/epicu with a U, not a Y-O-U. Also subscribe to t.me/epiccash. But in Freeman U last night, there was a gentleman named Jeff who was really kind of going, about the relationship with copper, and how his concern was that because they are all about custody, that is anti-freedom. And why would we ever go down this path of a relationship that really seems to be against our core values? And your response was brilliant. He was satisfied with it. But can you talk to us about both and versus either or?
Yeah, so he was operating from a little bit of a misconception. Epic is a protocol that exists as free software out on the internet and is agnostic of how users want to use it. The fact that some users would want to rely on a third party to custody their keys is neither here nor there. It has nothing to do with the functionality of the network itself.
Right.
So, if we said, hey, we're going to re-engineer everything and go put all our eggs in this banking industry paradigm basket, then that would be one thing, but that's not what we were talking about. This is an expansion of the ecosystem where an independent company, based on their own business interests, sees enough market potential in charging fees to people that want to hold their keys for Epic coins with copper to add it to their platform. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody has to go and use copper. It just means that for those who want to, it exists as an option.
Who would want to? Like maybe big institutional investors?
Well, okay, I'll give you an example. So let's say I'm a market maker and I am putting liquidity out on exchanges to harvest the bid-ask spread and earn a return on my capital. I've got some money out there on Bitfinex, on Bitstamp, on Binance, on FTX, on blah 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 blah, all these different exchanges.
Right.
If you don't have copper, then how do you cross margin between them? You have 10,000 over here, you have 9,000 over there. Right. The money is basically stuck. If it's on copper, then you can do the things that institutions need to unlock the power of their balance sheet. So in order for us to be into the billions and trillions, people with big money are going to need those things because they're not going to write down seed words and stick them in a drawer. The business needs of how institutions want to use our network are completely different than a home scale individual user. And so we're not losing the ability of everyone to do what they want exactly as it is now. We are gaining this powerful new potential for institutions to engage with us the way they want to. Because if we don't have that, then what happens? Then they can't, no matter how much they want to, they just simply can't engage with us. So it's a both and. It takes nothing away.
Nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a pure win.
It is going to. This move positively impacts the Epic Cash price, by the way.
This is an incremental. I mean, this doesn't diminish our capability. This doesn't cannibalize anything from our already existing markets. And all it does is just gives us incremental accessibility for those people who have not been able to access us before.
Yeah. And frankly, those are people that just may not give a crap about, anything private, right? I mean, these people don't. It's kind of not their money, a lot of them, right? These institutional investors.
It gives them optionality.
Yeah.
That's it. Look, it's like you have potatoes without serial numbers, okay? And some people want to buy them, through an entity that puts them in boxes and puts in, puts a
good.
number on them, and
Yep.
some people just sell them wholesale or whatever. But you have these optionalities. You have access to more markets that you normally don't have access to. So and it also, in terms of like PR and marketing, it gets our name out there. So that's the other positive
And it's
thing.
also a major validation as well.
Absolutely.
It is to be taken seriously by these guys. These guys are heavies. These guys are serious heavies.
So Yoga, good hearing
Yes.
you. While I have you on the line, about a month ago, there was some unnatural selling that was going on.
Yeah, people got some cheap Epic.
It kind of freaked everyone out. And then recently, there's more unnatural selling. And from what I understand is that there was
There was an event.
You explain it.
Right. There was an event. So, and first things first, Epic is fine, and this was not a network event or whatever. But what happened was an individual operator, mining pool, ice mining, lost some Epic. And it's what's interesting about this is we still don't know how or what happened in detail, but we know the consequences of it. So this was essentially a two-part theft from ice mining. And Greg, the operator, he mentioned that maybe it was like an OpenSQL vulnerability, or who knows, okay? But the bottom line, there's several things about it that kind of make you go,
Yeah.
First one, and this is disclosed by Greg and verified by everybody because, hey, the thief used Vitex to move the funds, and Vitex is pretty transparent. But the first part happened on September 16th, okay? So that's right, 6 weeks-ish ago.
Wow.
But for some reason, it was not reported by the pool operator. And even though there was about 70K worth of Epic that got jacked in the course of, hours and then get dumped into Vitex, and, whoever was dumping it essentially just dumped it at market. And that's why market kind of tanked.
Yeah.
Briefly, because they weren't concerned about, making money. They were just trying to quickly,
they were turn and burn, man. Get the
just
hell out
do
of here.
a quick dirty, and convert it to Bitcoin. Haha, jokes on them. But the second one, and by the way, there was no minor outcry. There was nobody said anything. So I'll clarify that my guess later on this. And then the second part happened 6 weeks later, I believe about like a day ago, maybe 2 days ago. And the amount was much smaller. It was about like a little over 20K. But what was interesting about this created a lot of angst and because all of the miner accounts on that mining pool were zeroed out. They were emptied out. So everything that people did not withdraw to their local wallets, as they should have, okay, got set to zero. Like it got taken out. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the weird one. Okay, because there's so many questions, right? There's okay, well, if the big one happened, in the beginning, why weren't accounts affected? And the second one was, well, again, why wasn't it noticed? Why weren't things patched, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera?
I mean, 70,000 Epic a month ago, I would think that the miners that would be part of that pool would be just like going out of their minds.
Right. So Greg's explanation was that he lost all of his Epic, basically. So again, weird that a pool operator who is a knowledgeable guy and keeps all of his Epic supposedly on the same wallet as he keeps.
Oh, so he's saying that first hack was he was hacked?
Like it was mostly his Epic, is what he's saying. Like in this whole
so
thing.
That's why there wouldn't be a.
But like the more you look at it, the more questions you walk away with. So this is kind of weird. Okay. The other thing is, this is not like a new event for ice mining. On March 18th, about 6 months ago or whenever that was, there was about 100 grand worth of Toncoin that mysteriously disappeared. And I'm just reading this. The attacker was able to reduce all miner balances to zero. Does that sound familiar? While increasing their balance to 49,800 coins. And anyway, so, and of course, ice mining being diligent, he said, what have we done? He said, we analyzed the attack and we found the vulnerability and we fixed the vulnerability. And what we're going to do going forward is said we will be conducting a full end-to-end security audit on our platform.
Okay.
Okay. So that was 6 months ago. And then this happened.
Wow.
Okay. Anyway, so I'm just reporting data. I'm not assigning any blame or whatever, because, you know, when it comes to customer service, you know, to all of the pissed off people who were understandably really, really pissed off, Ice Mining basically told them to F off and talk to the hacker, which is, you know, huge props on the customer service side.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway, but the opposite, sorry, just to wrap it.
Sure,
Okay.
sure.
So look, a lot of people were concerned about, you know, centralization with Ice Mining, you know, because it was a pool that people were just used to. Okay. But we do have pool 51. Okay. Or 51pool.online. That
Yeah.
is a pool operated by Pool Boy.
Yep.
He's part of our dev team.
Yeah, he's great.
And he's an upstanding guy, and he's the guy behind the GUI wallet that everybody loves.
Yep.
So it's not like we don't have options. So there you go.
Question.
Yeah.
Let's just explore this a little bit. BTC is a surveillance coin, right? So I presume that Veet has that.
Veet published all the information. Yes. Veet gave Greg the information. And again, they didn't even have to, because you could see that in their blockchain.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we know exactly which two addresses were used, and all of that information is out there, including the IP addresses that were used, which are probably like VPNs or dead ends, whatever.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, there's that. I mean, folks are certainly welcome to, you know,
It would be kind of interesting.
Track it down.
It'd be. I think it would be very interesting for you to drop that in the mining channel, or
I already did.
Okay. Beautiful. Because I'd be interested, for anyone watching, any of you guys that like this kind of stuff, let's be super sleuths. Let's just go see what can we track down with a BTC address, and can we then indeed see that BTC address? What else has, you know, we talk a lot about that. If you have a BTC address, you can see everything in that person's wallet, or what they spent it on, or whatever. Let's have some fun with it. It's just
yeah, I'll drop more info for folks to nerd out on.
Yeah, nerd out. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Anyway, but that's kind of it. So again, Epic is fine. This is definitely not a reflection on our blockchain or anything like that. This is an individual operator who, well, had a security lapse. And,
okay, but the Epic network is just fine. There was no.
It's completely unrelated to us. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. All right, so
oh, I'm sorry. Public announcement, you know, that goes with it, public safety announcement or whatever. Folks, look, we talk about this, and we talk about this, and we talk about this.
Yeah.
And I just want to say it one more time, okay? Look, there's two things, okay? Don't keep your Epic on exchanges except for the Epic that you're using to play with. You know, when you're buying, you're selling, that's unavoidable, okay? But for crying out loud, mining pools, I mean, you only store it there, like you mine it and then you withdraw it in batches. Like, it's not your wallet for sure. Like, I've learned this lesson the hard way, like back in 2012, 2013, and we had an excuse because that was happening for the first time.
Right.
But since then, it's been happening nonstop. There've been all sorts of events where, you know, mining pools get jacked, and, you know, guys do scam exits and there's all sorts of stuff. There's a million reasons why not to keep your coin on a mining pool. You mine it, withdraw it, have the discipline, okay, to do this, okay? Because in the fallout of all of this, it was amazing. I was looking at the Discord channel, and there are people that are saying all of my Epic is gone, and I'm thinking, like, wait, what do you mean all of your Epic is gone? So from the day that they started mining, okay, for like a year or 2 years, okay, they kept all of their Epic on a mining pool. And
first of all, I'm sorry they lost their Epic, period.
It's just a painful lesson, and it's so unnecessary.
Yeah, so those of you who have your Epic on Veet, you know, please download the GUI 4.0 wallet. And like Yoga said, you know, if you're going to play, if you're going to acquire, buy, sell, or whatever, that's your play epic, I guess, or your investable epic. But if you're just a hodler, get it off of Veet into your own GUI wallet, and then you can restore your seeds from your GUI onto the Stack wallet so that you can have it on your mobile device as well. But just do that, please.
Right. And at least with Veet, you understand, like, okay, it's an exchange. So if you want to buy some, if you want to sell some, you float like your play balance, as I refer to it, or whatever, at least that's understandable to a certain extent. But really, mining pool, that's just, anyway, it's a painful lesson. I feel bad for the folks, and, just, it's a lesson for everybody else. Please.
Who I don't feel bad for? Because we're about to do another public service announcement. I don't feel bad for the stockholders of Hewlett Packard, HP, because looky here, this is Max just printed out, I don't know, 7 copies of the ECR.
Oh, no. I'm glad you mentioned that. No, so we are on what we're about to go through right now. I can screen share and pull it up. Is the 14th draft of the ECR white paper.
Oh,
and
I thought this was
for years I've been throwing them away, and then I realized, wait a minute, like even just like the visual evidence of this amount of work that's going into it would be kind of a statement in itself. So every time we take another pass through the white paper, I print it. And then I mark it up with a pen and make edits, and it's like an oyster forming a layer, one layer at a time. And so that's the ECR white paper in all its glory as it gets bigger and bigger.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, well, all right. Back in December, we had a snapshot on the 25th. However much epic that you held at that point in time, you would receive that much in ECR and ECK. We're just talking about ECR today. But, there's the rightful question out there saying, we're almost a year later, where the heck is our ECR? Yep. And
let me screenshot. Let me screen share. Yeah.
But first of all, I want to just ask you the direct question, as if I'm, not a friendly, why would you promise ECR and not have it out, in a year? I mean, why on earth? What's so hard about just getting us that ECR?
Yeah. So first of all, we did 2 snapshots. We put a tremendous amount of thought into this. So snapshot 2 is December. There were 14 million coins on the network at that point. So if you had coins as of December 2021, then you will get 1 for 1. If you have from February 2021, which is when we were originally hoping to launch it, there were 11. So if you have coins from way back when, you actually get 2 for 1 ECR, which is important. Yeah. So the reason that issuing a token is fairly trivial. What is not trivial is explaining to people, what is this token? What gives it value? What are we going to do with it? Why should you own it? Or maybe why should you sell it?
Can you zoom in?
What are you getting?
If you're going to show this, can you zoom in on it? Because you can't.
Yeah, let me just figure out how to do that.
Thank you. I'm sorry I interrupt people. People were laughing that I interrupted Todd Lewis to tell him to stop chewing gum.
I think there's some kind of presentation mode or something on here, but I can't quite figure it out.
What you're doing is a little better.
Let me just see if I can get the Google Docs thing to go here. 1 second.
All right,
it should be some kind of full screen mode.
Yeah,
they're always changing this, and it confuses me. Let's see here.
What about there, right middle?
Mode, viewing. Maybe it's in view mode. How about that? Better.
And then if you adjust your screen, go to the lower right and kind of elongate it down. Maybe that helps. You know what I'm talking about?
Elongate it down. I think this is the best we're going to be able to do.
Okay. All right.
I have a wide screen, and so
okay.
it's a little different. Yeah, I'm watching how it comes up on my phone here.
You can't pull it down to make it a bigger space, the actual screen area. You know how you can, any screen that pops up, you can go to the lower right and you can make it smaller or bigger or longer.
I'm on a PC.
Yeah. Works on a PC too. You take your arrow, go to the lower right, click on it, and then you just pull it down, make it smaller, make it longer.
You'll have to coach me offline because I have no
All
idea
right,
what you're talking about, and the time is burning.
Okay, go ahead.
But anyway, okay. So the reason that we wanted to put so much effort into it, you can see here 21 pages, and there's quite a bit to go still. Thanks everyone for their feedback on the DAO governance chat. That input is helpful on knowing what to add. So in the history of crypto, there's all kinds of airdrops and grabs and forks and stuff like that. The knee-jerk reaction of people, like I got, I think it was $400 in Uniswap airdrop tokens, something like that. I had used Uniswap before they launched, and when they came out with the Uni token, I got some free tokens, and I just boom, instantly went straight to sell it. Why? Because I don't care about Uniswap, but I just don't even care. I just instantly went and converted it into something that was valuable to me. I didn't want to take the time to understand the value proposition of why I should hold that $400 worth of Uni tokens. I would rather have something else. So for me, that was an easy decision. And so here, it's crucial because 5 years from now, if somebody got, like, let's say you had 1,000 Epic and you got 1,000 or even 2,000 ECR, depending on when you owned them, and you went and dumped them for nothing, years later, you're going to be feeling really, really sad because, you know, that these things are going to be quite valuable. At least I believe they are. And so the challenge is for us to explain why this thing exists, what gives it value, what might it be worth. It would be doing everyone involved a disservice unless we took the time to really pause and go, hey, this is meaningful.
Ooh, this is the anti-crypto vigilante strategy where they pump you. The first one, those who act first profit most. This is one where what you're saying, if I'm picking up what you're putting down, is that you have gone through these 21 pages and growing to be able to provide people with a true analysis of what this asset is and is going to be and the intentions. And so that everyone, before they dump one ECR, should, if you're smart, read this entire paper, right? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, and also if we look at okay, so Epic itself as a protocol, there's Epic, and then there's the overall Epicenter stack, which has about a dozen assets. As we unlock the different pieces of the subway map and gain more capabilities, ECR is really the key to making a lot of that happen.
Right.
So, for example, EUSD. EUSD is going to exist on 60 more or less, that's the current number, different blockchains: Avalanche, Binance Smart Chain, Ethereum, Doge Chain, Phantom, Polkadot, blah 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 blah. And so how many EUSD should there be on Binance versus or Binance Smart Chain versus Ethereum versus Avalanche? Who makes that decision? Well, we need to. The people that own the ECR tokens need to be able to control the settings for this dynamic system that requires maintenance and management and governance and care and feeding over time. So if we don't take the time to educate our users and people go and dump, and then some canny speculator with a pot of money goes, hey, you know what? That's an interesting thing you got there. Let me go buy up 40% of it. And then I control your system, and I got it for pennies. That's going to be bad for us. And what we saw in Maker, the primary competition for EUSD used to be DAI, Maker DAI. I say used to be because they're doing their level best to destroy themselves And it's really sad to see, but if you understand why they're doing it, it makes total sense, because MKR is the governance token of the ecosystem, or of the platform that the DAI stablecoin comes from. And the people who control the settings of DAI are the MKR holders. Who owns MKR? Well, it's VCs. VCs are totally cool with the existing banking system. They don't really care too much about decentralization. They are not cypherpunks. They're not liberty oriented. They're quite okay with putting their eggs in the state basket, let's say. And so the reason that or that DAI decided to put 1.6 billion of its money with Coinbase is because the MKR token holders voted that way. And so we need to protect against capture, just like Blockstream went to shit, just like Ethereum went to shit. All these things go to shit unless you make it so that they don't go to shit. And this is why we're taking such time here. So let's see.
So
here.
this is our don't go to shit paper. But yeah, no, I think this is why people tune in to Epic Cash Live on Fridays, is because you're going to get a much deeper dive than I think any other cryptocurrency out there. Of course, I pulled that out of my where, because I don't pay attention to any other cryptocurrencies anymore. But I do believe that nobody shares as much of the sausage making as Max and team does, for sure. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, so at the outset, there's going to be 42 million of them. ECR has a capped supply of 88 million. It takes many, many years to get there. So the dilution that our initial owners will face is extremely low compared to other networks that have more aggressive emission schedules. So as always, we are designing for long-term economic security and accumulation of value to early holders. So we're grounded in solid science and first principles here. So of those 42 million, 25 million of those go to existing Epic holders. This is from February, the 11 million before the value overflow incident that put a stick in the spokes and put us on pause for quite a while as we had to deal with the aftermath of that. Our original intention was to launch ECR back in March of 2021 on a 1-for-1 basis. And at that point, there were only 11 million coins outstanding. And then we had to go back to the drawing board and in response to the hack and its aftermath. So what we came up with is to best make sure that all different stakeholder groups' interests are represented. We have two snapshots. So if you came in before December 2021, you get one ECR. If you were there earlier before March, you get essentially double. And the way we did that was by adjusting the supply upward from originally, I think it was 25 million, and we made it 42. All of these decisions, by the way, what you see on the screen is not just, I just like sat around with some buddies and go, oh, that's going to be a great number. No, this is the product of extensive discussions in all kinds of groups. There's almost 100 Telegram groups where our community forms, and people are very passionate about discussing these things and finding the right answer. So the bulk of it, what is that? About 60% goes to Epic holders, and we're going to need those because you can't make EUSD unless you have ECR. That's the key. If we want to access liquidity off of our holdings and have a governor flow for the flow valve of how many there can be, because otherwise it's just Federal Reserve number, to infinity,
right?
And that would be a collapse. EUSD needs to stay stable at $1. This is how we regulate the supply. So most of it goes to us, and we're proportionally rewarding the people who came earlier more for their loyalty. EEA, as the economy amplifier, will put about 10% of them to good use in forging business development partnerships that grow the ecosystem. The Dow Treasury gets 4 million. We will have to decide together what to do with those. I've got some ideas. I'm sure you have some. We have to figure that out together, and there's a lot of things in motion to create structured processes for that.
There's the Uncle V string manufacturing company that I think we could put that to use for. So
they're on the other page. We've got 700,000 for those guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
thank you for that, by the way.
You're welcome.
So we're gonna
see that again.
Yeah. So another thing is we're working on a mobile app with our partner AirKit that makes awesome software for building apps, where we're coming up with this thing called proof of contribution, where let's say you're out there, like Ryan Comiskey is out there on Twitter all the time trying to get guests for the DNA of Bitcoin podcast. I was on with Marique Flamont, the CEO of Near, this morning. We had a bit of a misfire. We're going to do it again on Monday. But the outreach team, as an example, has been responsible for a lot of great wins on bringing people to the table. Tillman with his articles. Everyone who's done anything over the past 3 years will have a chance to say, hey, here is what I did. If you would like to reward me for my efforts in the form of VCR tokens, here is the demonstration of my work. So we've got 4 million penciled in for, or not penciled in there for contributors, and we will be distributing those out on a merit basis. Another 4 million are going out to auction platforms. So these DeFi crowdfunding marketplaces out there on these different chains where people are buying new issues. We're going to put 10% or 9.5% of our supply out there for sale to the world at large, and allow people to buy into our ecosystem through a token sale. So that's the auction piece. Now you might have a question, is that going to make us a security? Absolutely not, because like everything else, we designed for regulatory compatibility, and there's nothing wrong with doing a token sale. You just have to do it in the right way, and we are. So we've also got $250,000 for each of these 4 different buckets. Educational institutions, Becky Boo is doing great work engaging with universities. I'm plugged into the University of Wyoming, who puts on the Wyoming Blockchain Stampede hackathons. People that are involved in education that can help our mission. We've got some budget in there to get them into our boat through some grants. Industry associations, people that are doing advocacy in the halls of power. There's a lot of important litigation going right now, or not litigation, regulatory rules setting. The rules of the game for the next 20 years are being set down now, and we need to have our voice be heard. And so that means connecting with places like Coin Center and the Blockchain Association. Ryan Comiskey put together a whole list of them. So we're going to sprinkle a little bit of our ECR equity out into their hands to get them into our boat.
You know, it's amazing. I remember when Ryan first came into the community, just this guy on the peripheral, and now he's like knee deep in it. I love that guy. It's just like, there's so many of those kind of community members within Epic. We have the best Epic community. We have the best community in crypto.
We really do.
I do have, before you
Definitely.
finish this, I do want to ask one question. Mother Trucker has question. Will there be one wallet to hold all my coins and tokens in the Epic ecosystem instead of bridges, MetaMask, etc.? Great question.
Yep. we crawl, then we walk, then we run. It's not a one-step process, but we will get there. Ease
So
of use is
the idea would have a dedicated Epic app that would, let's just imagine that all of the tokens were out that are getting USD, whatever. We'll have one wallet to where everything can be managed within that one wallet.
Yep, absolutely. There's huge amounts of effort underway to stitch all these different pieces together.
BFD. That's a BFD. Thank you for the question, Mother Trucker. All right, sorry, I derailed you.
Yeah, no problem. So attorneys and advisors, that's also important. People with gray hair that can help us make the right decisions, that have seen it all before. Attorneys that can keep us safe. We can give them a reason to care. After we get off here today, in about an hour, I have a call with the guy who is organizing the legal defense for Alexei Pertsev, the Tornado Cash developer. I'm plugged in pretty tight now to the EU crypto legal scene through that. So through this, we'll have some wherewithal to get them to get engaged and care and be involved in our world. And then also media partners. Spreading the word is so important. So I'm not sure if they'd be interested, but if they are, then places like Coin Bureau would be eligible for stuff like this. Anybody with a voice, SGT report, that's a great example. Chris Martenson, like Epic itself, there's no free lunch. Epic couldn't have a pre-mine, needed to be proof of work, all coins created the same way. But in a token, it's a different story. Right. So we had a clean sheet to work with. So that is the initial release of who gets them, but then on an ongoing basis.
So how and when will it be released in your best estimation?
You ever see that meme, soon TM? How it has a little trademark up. Yeah. So, I mean, basically, as soon as we get the buy-in from the community that, okay, like we're ready, this is enough, like we understand, it's safe, let's do this, then we can. So there's nothing really holding us back.
So what I'm understanding is you're saying, as soon as we get the feedback from the community, I think what I'm hearing is basically as soon as the community has demonstrated that, okay, we get it, you've educated us through this white paper, we've read it, we understand it, we take self-responsibility because we acknowledge that if we just do that, take it and dump it, we don't give a shit about it, that long-term could compromise the entire system because somebody could ultimately have control, like make or die. Am I picking up what you're putting down?
Yep, exactly. And so what happened after the value overflow incident in March 2021 was really, really illuminating and quite scary. It was a near-death experience, the closest thing to a near-death experience that we've had in our entire journey. Because we had, I won't mention the name, but let's say PM, if you know those initials, you know who I'm talking about. We had people who took advantage of the chaos to put out an agenda to rejigger the rules of the game to favor themselves. Hey, Ethereum, handled it this way. Why don't we just redistribute just this once? I promise. Let's punish the hacker and feather our own nest with those coins. We could have easily gone down the same road as Ethereum and been, in the same place as those guys years later, because the road to perdition begins with a single step. And so what we're trying to avoid is us releasing this and then weeks and months and years later, people coming back and saying, like you should have done this, you should have done that, like all those ankle biters, the naysayers, the trolls, things like that. We are ready, but what we need to be is of a mind that this is what we're doing. We are in agreement that this is, the right thing to be done. You know, maybe some of these numbers should be X or Y, or certain things should be different. It should not be like, it's always what we're trying to create here is that we as a community, as a group of people that are all independent with our own interests and our own motivations and goals and desires of what we're trying to get out of this, that we are able to act as a unit, as one, which is really, really hard. And so in this document, if there's anything that people don't like, that don't agree with, that is wrong, then we need to know why. Because nobody's perfect. We don't have all the right answers. We get better through that critical feedback.
Right.
And so please take the time to review this, because maybe there should be more DAOs or less DAOs, or maybe one number should be 7 instead of 4 instead of 11, or whatever. We need the hive mind engaged on this, because it's so crucial. So Islo has been great. Yoga's been great. Everybody who's had a role in getting this white paper going, you know who you are. So thank you. You know what, we don't want it to be suboptimal because we didn't have appropriate care input in its creation.
See, and I so respect that, Max, because this is kind of how you've approached this from the beginning, from kind of a defensive design standpoint. Absolutely, from a defensive design standpoint. I really, really think, and you know, I know you don't look for it, but just giving you a lot of credit for your vision on all of this and thinking through all of the minutia, all the details and everything, that I think 99.9999% of the people out there, you wouldn't even know the questions to ask or the landmines that are before us. So good on you, Max. I want to give you an attaboy. I really respect you.
Well, thank you. Success has many fathers, as I always say. So it's a team effort. There's no I in team. Have you ever known a child named Success? That would be kind of funny. Did you ever read that book, Freakonomics, by Stephen Levitt? The woman who named her daughter Lemongelo.
No.
No. Oh, that's a funny one. Yeah. Lemongelo, Orangelo, and then there was another one, Shatid, Shiththead.
All right, we have 3 minutes.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up. So basically, Epicenter DAO is a DAO of DAOs, a meta DAO, and there's currently about 24 of them. So every DAO gets an ongoing allocation of ECR tokens to give out. So some of them are small, like the help desk and DNA of Bitcoin. Some of them are big, like Epic Community Rockstars. So basically, we will have 8,300 tokens a month for all 2023.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yep, exactly. So people that are out there doing great stuff here, I see you, thank you. Here's a little bit of positive reinforcement for what you're doing. Yep.
May I ask the affinity for the 8333, 83833?
That's just how the math worked out.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Nothing, no Masonic symbolism embedded there. Yeah, maybe we should change it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's info on the DAOs. There's a lot of work behind this. Individual people are working on different things. A lot of these are fairly small at this point, but the point is we've got a flexible structure that can grow. So we've got let's see, where is it? We've got a flotilla model. I think it's in there. Flotilla model. So instead of one big ship, we've got lots of little ships, and we can have as many as we want. So if somebody has an idea for something, then they can apply to create a DAO and get some of this ongoing flow of ECR token budget to get out there and grow the ecosystem. So this is these are the DAOs. And these are the guilds. Guilds are different groups of people working on different parts of the ecosystem. The people that are working on treasury don't need to care about the technical development stuff, and vice versa. So the reason that ECR has a utility, and I know we're getting tight on time here, is we're going to use it to reward contributor participation. We're going to be running contests. So this is actually pretty interesting. So we've got art, articles.
Stop on one of those just so that we can focus on.
Okay.
Do the articles. Show me the articles.
All right.
All right. So
okay. So
do the, just explain it and walk through the grand prize, runner up, and everything, because this should get everyone excited who's already doing this anyway.
Yeah, and that's the point. Like, so far, everybody's doing stuff just out of the goodness of their hearts, and that will obviously continue. But now there will be an additional financial incentive to do stuff, and a way to reward based on merit people that are making contributions. So even if you're and what we're doing here is anything you've already done.
What's the no there? I'm curious.
Oh, so this is comment mode. Anybody can go in and make comments. That's somebody put in a note there. I haven't had a chance to look at that yet.
Okay.
But anyway, so if you've written an article and want to submit it for this, absolutely, you don't have to go recreate stuff. We've got different categories. So people that write articles about censorship resistance can earn 100 epic and 1,000 ECR if they get the grand prize. Runner up, 10 epic and 100 ECR. Honorable mention, 1 epic and 10 ECR. Now maybe these numbers.
Everybody, please remember. At least I'm just going to keep repeating this. When I send someone 1 epic, I, in my mind, know that I'm sending them at minimum $1,000 in time. So 100 epic as a grand prize.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
Yep. So the point is we want to stimulate our community of holders to put their oars in the water and row. People respond to incentives. So if we're doing great already, this should help us do even more. So if you've got away with words and you want to write articles between 500 and 1,500 words on censorship resistance, centralization resistance, confiscation resistance, cost effectiveness, ESG impact, fungibility, future proofing, scalability, trust minimization, and then other categories here, people that are making GIFs, hashtag competitions, infographics, memes, songs.
Scalability. Did I see something? Hashtag under. Okay. Scale. Got it. Okay. That was the GIF. Okay.
Yeah. So we need articles on scalability and also infographics on scalability. So for example, a lot of the great stuff that Spencer does showing, okay, this is the big circle. This is the size of the chain file of the other systems. It's multiple terabytes, and ours is this tiny dot because it's only gigs. Sometimes you need to communicate with images, sometimes with words, and sometimes with GIFs and memes and
is there any other community out there in the crypto ecosystem that has anything like this, that rewards people for specific articles that are important to their ecosystem? I mean, I'm looking at this, I'm like, man, I hope we get just 100 people submitting articles on scalability or fungibility, because I mean, can you imagine all of that as fodder? And here's what happens every time. If you are one of those who actually creates the article, the amount of research, thinking through every word, you get so smart. So we're self-educating as we just take on these challenges of actually committing it to paper. So to me, this is just absolutely amazing. It's fun. This is going to be fun. I can't wait to read all of this stuff, except in Swahili here or whatever.
Well, Arabic, yeah. So the reason I pulled this up is all that raw material that gets created, we're starting it in English, but then you can imagine the iterations as it kind of fractals off.
Right.
That creates the raw material for localization. There's currently 62 languages on Epicentral, and so all of our content can eventually get into all these other languages as well, so that when we do crack a new market and millions of people discover us, they've got this rich library of content to work with. And so you asked if there's other projects that do this. Yes, absolutely. We take good ideas from everywhere, and there are, I mean, nobody really creates anything novel. It's all just kind of like reminiscences of things that came before.
Yeah.
So
All right, we got a couple minutes here. We should wrap.
Yep. Okay.
Let's
Yeah,
wrap.
we should probably wrap. Yep. All right.
Wrap.
So anyway, contests is one thing that we're going to do with it. People that take leadership roles, proof of contribution, and also voting. So people that take the time to express their opinion on whether we should zig or zag or do whatever, that's there as well. Also, buyer fraud protection. We don't have time to get into all this,
No.
but
We're good.
anyway,
we get it.
Yeah.
We get it. We get it. Great job. Okay. Well, I hope I'm going to miss all of you for 2 weeks. I won't be here for the next 2 weeks. But then after that, I am entrenched in the saddle through the year, not traveling. So we'll be back. And I'll miss you. And like I said earlier, maybe you'll miss me. I don't know. But okay. Well, hey, thank you. Yoga Dude, Max, Mr. Momola, really appreciate you all. And
Always glad to be here.
all of you guys and gals in the chat, thank you for being here, and smash that like button and give some comments. All right, everyone. I'll see you in 2 weeks on the 15th of November, Tuesday night with Ab the Fakeologist. All right. Cheers.
Peace out, folks.
Bye-bye.